It's not a good award. You don't want to win this award. This award crushed your team. Justin Jefferson from the Minnesota Vikings, Mark Andrews from the Baltimore Ravens, Aaron Rodgers from the New York Jets. I almost said Green Bay Packers, and Nick Chubb from the Cleveland Browns. All of these just destroyed your fantasy team. All of them, every single one of them. So it's very difficult to find out who's going to win this award.
Yeah, this one is tough. And we fought. I'm pretty sure we fought on this one for quite a while. All of these are different. I mean, for very different reasons. Justin Jefferson, you're drafting as 101. You're drafting him as the best player in fantasy football. You want him to be the best in fantasy football. Go ahead and answer Josh's question here.
No. I want David to see
Okay.
it.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you're drafting him to be the best player on your fantasy team, not just on your fantasy team, but in the fantasy in your league. Mark Andrews, you're drafting him as probably a top 2, if not probably a top 3 tight end in your league. You're expecting him to be your only tight end on your team. You're expecting to draft him and then not draft another tight end, and now he gets injured and you have to stream for the rest of the season. Aaron Rodgers. You really liked Aaron Rodgers on this list because he didn't just hurt himself. He hurt Garrett Wilson's production. That's about it. I mean, the rest of the team is trash anyway. So, Garrett Wilson still had a decent year. And then of course, Nick Chubb. What? Garrett Wilson finished as a top 24. We're not talking about Garrett Wilson. And then Nick Chubb, of course, you're drafting him in the first round. And that hurts for you, especially how quickly he got hurt. So hopefully you got Jerome Ford very early. But yeah, any comments?
Yeah, I have comments, and I'm not done. And I'm not done fighting. I don't know if I should announce the winner and fight you, or just announce the winner. But we do have Justin Jefferson, who played multiple games this season and help you actually make your fantasy playoffs and help you win your fantasy. He did. He had decent games down the stretch. Yes, he did.
He
Yes,
didn't help you win.
He didn't help you win, but he helped you get there when he came back. Yes, he did. Are you telling me that he was useless when he came back? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I mean, on my team, he was sitting in a flex position. So.
And then we had Nick Chubb, who totally destroyed his knee, and
Yeah.
won't ever play football again. He was a first-round pick. Mark Andrews, it was brutal, but if you got Isaiah Likely, you were fine. It came down to me, Aaron Rodgers, and Justin Jefferson. Aaron Rodgers destroyed an entire franchise. Garrett Wilson was drafted as wide receiver 9. He finished wide receiver 23. Yeah, that crushed his value. People were drafting Garrett Wilson in the second round because 21st overall, by the way, because of Aaron Rodgers and the trends there that Aaron Rodgers makes a number 1 receiver out of almost anybody when he wants to. Justin Jefferson, by the way, get back on him. How many games did he miss? He missed weeks 6 through 14. When he did come back, he scored. He had week 15 and 16 were very usable in the playoffs. You couldn't use Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. I'll tell you that. And Justin Jefferson, Jefferson didn't sink an entire franchise.
But you're not drafting Aaron Rodgers to be QB1. You're drafting Aaron Rodgers to be like QB14. Like, he's not a starting quarterback on your fantasy team, whether you drafted him or not.
But you're missing the point. If you stacked Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson like a lot of people did, not only did you lose your quarterback, your number 1 quarterback, you lost your number 1 receiver. Your number 1 receiver from day 1, from 4 plays into the NFL season, went from top of the line, borderline wide receiver 1, superstar. We be talking about him as breakout player of the year, to wide receiver 2, low end wide receiver 2, low end wide receiver 2. That's the whole point. So without further ado, the winner of this award is Justin Jefferson.
You got outvoted.
I got outvoted.
This is the overall 100th player. He was drafted to be 1. He dropped 99 spots.
It does stink that he got hurt. He does stink. But mind you, he was a wide receiver 1, like not the 1, but a 1, weeks 1 through 4. So therefore, he got you those wins early on. So he started out 4-0 most likely.
And then he probably tanked your team because
then he got hurt.
Now you're relying on your 24th overall pick to be your best player.
Yeah, but not only did you lose Aaron Rodgers, like I said, you lost Garrett Wilson. You lost the potential of maybe a Dalvin Cook revival. He'd be a lot better, I believe. I think a quarterback does make a running back better in some situations. And you're missing out on the potential of that offense, of that New York Jets football team. because they had a solid defense. They'd be playing in plus territory almost all the time because of that defense is so solid. With a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, you're talking Garrett Wilson maybe potentially being the wide receiver 1 overall, but instead, because he had Zach Wilson and a bunch of bums thrown it to him, he was wide receiver 23. Aaron Rodgers deserves this title. I mean, nobody wants to win this title. Nobody wants to win this award. But Aaron Rodgers deserves it because, not like I said, and last word on this, not only did you lose your franchise quarterback, you lost your superstar receiver in the process. That's it.
Still had a good season.
I was outvoted by a Vikings fan and by Justin.
Garrett Wilson still had a very serviceable year.
Oh, yeah, serviceable. You didn't draft him. You didn't draft him to be serviceable. You drafted him to be special.
He had 5 weeks under 10 points. That's not even that.
You didn't draft him to be serviceable. You
didn't draft Justin Jefferson to be the 100th best fantasy player in the year, did you?
What's his fantasy points per game?
We're not talking about Garrett Wilson. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers.
What's his fantasy points per game? Justin Jefferson. I bet you it's up there. I didn't even check that. 1, 2, 3, 4.
37.
1, 2, 3. Fifth in points per game. So when he played, he was solid.
And then he missed 7 weeks, which probably lost you 7 games.
Listen. I was outvoted. I'll take my L. I'll take my
Take
L.
your L.